Afternoon, folks. I'm getting back with you today, and today we're gonna talk about shortages and diesel shortages and oil prices and all that kind of good stuff. First, I'm gonna read you an article from oilprice.com, which is a trade publication of the oil industry, and I'm gonna tell you my personal experiences. I'm a truck driver, and I get to see a lot of different things cross country, different prices, who's short on what, you know, that kind of thing. But let's get on down to the thick of it. Multi year low inventories and constraints in supply are exacerbating a diesel shortage in the United States, especially on the East Coast. Diesel demand continues to be strong after recovering faster from the pandemic slump than other fuels, such as gasoline, refiners say. But several factors have combined this year to deplete the U.S. distillate inventories, which included diesel and heating oil. And ahead of the winter, the distillate fuel crunch is worsening. U.S. refining capacity is now lower than it was before COVID, as operable refinery capacity shrank in 2021 for the second consecutive year to stand at 17.9 million barrels per calendar day as of January 1st, 2022. According to EIA estimates, U.S. refiners permanently shut down some refinery capacity at the start of the pandemic when fuel demand plunged, while others closed their facilities to convert them into biofuel refineries. Some refineries were under maintenance this autumn, reducing the availability of products. In addition to the U.S. banned imports of all Russian energy products after the Russian invasion of Ukraine and hasn't imported any petroleum products from Russia since April. Lower refinery capacity in the U.S. since the pandemic, seasonal maintenance at refineries globally, and a major strike in France have all combined in recent weeks to create a shortage of middle distillates, not only in the United States but also worldwide. The world is also scrambling for diesel supply, also in view of the looming EU embargo on Russian oil fuel imports by sea, expected to kick in early February. A diesel shortage and a high diesel price don't bode well for the global economy, which is slowing down and could tip into recession at some point next year. Distillate fuels are used in transportation, agriculture, manufacturing, and heating. In the U.S., distillate fuel inventories are about 20% below the 5-year average for this time of year. According to the EIA's latest weekly inventory report, the U.S. has just 25 days of diesel supply in reserve, with some regional markets very tight. According to CNBC, U.S. diesel reserves at the end of October have never been so low since 1951, with the Northeast most exposed to the low levels of diesel stocks. Not the refiners aren't trying. Refinery utilization on the East Coast was at 102.5% into the week of October 21st, per EIA data. Yet distillate inventories are much lower than normal, and diesel and heating oil prices remain high and stoke inflation as they make consumer goods and heating bills more expensive. Households in the Northeast who rely on heating oil for space heating will see 27% higher bills this winter compared to last winter, the EI said in its winter fuels outlook in October. Our forecast for heating oil margins this winter reflects price pressures that have currently been affecting the U.S. distillate market, including low inventories, low imports, and limited refinery capacity. For diesel, one fuel supplier has already issued an alert for the East Coast. East Coast fuel markets are facing diesel supply constraints due to market economics and tight inventories, Mansfield said last week. Because conditions are rapidly evolving and market economics are changing significantly each day, Mansfield is moving to Alert Level 4 to address market volatility. Mansfield's also moving the Southeast to Code Red, requesting 72-hour notice for deliveries when possible to ensure that fuel and freight can be secured at economical levels. The Biden administration hasn't ruled out the idea of limiting U.S. fuel exports in order to restore inventories and lower prices. Refiners are opposed to that idea, saying that banning or limiting the export of refined products would likely decrease inventory levels, reduce domestic refining capacity, put upward pressure on consumer fuel prices, and alienate U.S. allies during a time of war. Tom Closer, global head of analysis at OPSIS, told USA Today last week between now and the end of November, If we don't build inventories, the wolf will be at the door, and it will look like a big, ugly wolf if it's a cold winter. What this boils down to, folks, is we got a shortage of especially diesel fuel. We'll just concentrate on diesel fuel. But heating oil, everything I say will go for heating oil and kerosene too, because they're all made out of diesel fuel, or they're all made out of fuel oil. So if you have a shortage of one, you have a shortage of all. I'm a truck driver. I routinely drive over I-81. You start at I-81 in bottom of Tennessee, and diesel fuel's in the high fours to the low fives. But as you go up 81, towards 81 runs up the inner East Coast on the western side of Virginia and Pennsylvania and New York and up through there. The further you go north, the higher prices are. I talked to a friend yesterday that was on I-78 in Pennsylvania, and diesel fuel was $6.41 a gallon. So prices are shooting up. As supply gets diminished, well, demand takes over and prices go through the roof. And for all you people out there, it's like, I ain't worried about diesel fuel. I ain't got no diesel car. If we run out of diesel fuel, the trucks that bring everything that you use will stop. And it will affect you. Because there won't be a thing on any shelf in any store that you buy. You won't have any food. You won't have any gasoline because you need diesel trucks to bring the gasoline. You won't have medicine. You won't have clothes. You won't have anything. You won't get your Amazon delivery. It's just all over bad. And you got to understand. Since our current administration went to war with the petroleum industry, nothing but bad has come of it. And until we reverse course and start fending for ourselves and drilling our own oil, the future will just continue to look worse. And just in case you think that, well, it's just diesel, we get through it, no problem. Diesel is by far not the only shortage we got going on. So far in 22, we either have or had or going to have shortages of the following products: butter, beer and soda due to a lack of CO2, Hershey's Halloween candy, hummus. Oh no, I ain't no hummus. Mustard, sriracha, milk, tampon, baby formula, and the list goes on and on. Anything that takes a microchip, which is virtually any kind of consumer electronics or industrial electronics. Been shortage of agricultural meats. And after this year, there's going to be a shortage of anything that's made of corn and soybeans. There's a shortage of fertilizer to fertilize said corn and soybeans. A shortage of aluminum. And it just happens to be the kind of food grade aluminum that they use to make cans, beer cans, Coke cans, soup cans, just all kinds of cans. So which hence puts you in shortage of all those items. That's why they call it a supply chain. And there's much more, but that's all I can drag up out of my brain at the moment. But in the end, if the diesel goes away, there's going to be a shortage of everything. Because when I park that truck, people are going to starve. And that may sound melodramatic, but it's the damn truth. So y'all plan accordingly. Like and subscribe if you would. And y'all have a great day.